Good day to one and all. My name is Harish. I am a first year PGP student at IIM Trichy. The topic which I'm going to present today is non-performing assets and its impact in the Indian economy. So what is non-performing assets? A non-performing asset is a loan or an advance for which principal or the interest payment remains overdue for a period of 90 days. Banks are required to classify NPAs further into three categories: substandard, doubtful, and loss assets. Substandard assets, assets which have remained NPA for a period of less than or equal to 12 months. Doubtful assets, and assets would be classified as doubtful if it had remained in the substandard category for a period of 12 months. Loss assets. Loss asset is considered uncollectible and for such little value that is continuing as a bank asset and is not warranted, although there may be some salvage or a recovery value. So now let's see what is the percentage of NPA in India. According to the CARE ratings, the NPA percentage in India has fallen to 7.7% from 8.2% in June 2020. At the end of the second quarter of 2020, PSUs has reported an NPA of 9.7% compared to 10.2% in June 2020. This is the first time after many quarters that PSUs are reporting a single-digit NPA. Private sectors reported a decline of NPA from 5.5% to the 5%. The reason for the decrease in the NPA percentage is primarily due to the moratorium provided till August has provided some pace in terms of the recognition of the NPA, which would have improved the ratios. Therefore, we have to wait for the time period to elapse to count the true value of NPS in the system. NPAs are also subdued because of the Supreme Court order that has stayed banks from classifying default assets during the COVID period as NPA until further notice. So now let's see what is the impact of NPA in the banking system as well as the Indian economy. First, let's see what is the impact of NPA on the banking system. The increase in NPA not only reduces the bank profitability but also decreases its credibility. In fact, massive amount of NPA with the commercial banks is threatening to erode half of its capital base of the public sector banks. Once a bank started incurring loss and its fundamentals are not corrected, the problem will become more chronic and destabilize the confidence of the depositors. Once the depositors start withdrawing the money from their banks, the banking system will collapse. It is because of this reason that NPA must remain within the substandard limits, and the current NPA level is threatening the stability. Higher amount of NPA also pressurize the banks to decrease the interest rate on the savings to increase the margin. Already there is a gap between the interest rate on the banks versus the mutual funds. Further diversion in the interest rates will divert the banks funds from the banking sector to the non-banking sector, further eroding the capital which is available for the banks to lend. So now let's see what is the impact of NPS on the Indian economy. Strong banking sector is an most important significant prerequisite of a strong economy because it channels the savings into investments. A fragile banking system will ultimately give way to a fragile economy. It is clear that the infrastructure accounted for a big chunk of the NPA. Because of the massive amount of NPA in the infrastructure, banks are now reluctant to fund the sector, as infrastructure is one of the most important sectors in the economy, which fuels the growth for the other sectors. Draining resources to the infrastructure may hamper the growth of the Indian economy. Among the other sectors, food and processing also accounted for 5.3% of the total NPA. Food processing is one of the most employment intensive industry, and its growth also pushes the growth of the agriculture. Any loss to the food processing industry will ultimately percolate to the employment as well as the agriculture sector. Other sectors will also directly or indirectly affect the overall economic scenario due to the exposure to the bad loans. Hence, the issue of NPA must be resolved on an urgent basis. The government of India has took several corrective measures in order to ensure the NPS gets corrected. IBC, insolvency and bankruptcy, has been implemented in order to resolve the NPA issues on a fast track basis. We expect the NPA percentage to reduce down in the near future. Thank you.